Try to get this framed up a little better. It's a little windy out here. It's pretty cold, probably mid 40s or so, maybe lower than that. The main thing is the wind. It just stopped raining. Hopefully this freaking weather will get better soon to start doing some other kind of video work. But I did promise you guys that wanted to know the next part of the story I told in the last video, and if you guys didn't see it, go back to the last video. We had made some money with the website we were with, and we were just starting to make some money with YouTube, and we had the money to start really producing things, you know, and which was awesome because it allowed us to do the things we really wanted to do, the things we really wanted to produce. You know, the jug fishing series was one of the main things, and that, I know y'all have heard me say it a bunch, but that one really cost me more than anything to produce. I'd like to go back to something like that. I plan to go back to something like that, but I just got to get I got to figure out how. Well, for one, I already have an idea of how to make it cheaper. There's no way I can go back to spending the kind of money I was on it before, you know, the barge and stuff like that. But to get it the cost down and stuff like that, to be able to do it again, because I so badly want to bring that one back for sure. But anyway, so you know, we're producing stuff like that and some other stuff. We're blowing things up, you know, we're picking up some decent guns, because it's hard to just go and borrow guns that are gonna, you know, make an impression, I guess. We had a company that would send us some guns, things like that. We also, with one of those companies, got the opportunity to go to some of the SHOT shows in Vegas. That was awesome. When we're here in the middle of the woods, we don't realize that our stuff is as big as it was to people, you know, because yeah, we see the numbers that we're pulling on the computer, you know, but you really don't put two and two together until like you go to a SHOT show or something like that, where people that know you, the fans and stuff, you know you're there, and they come to see you, come up to you, and you're talking to, you know, more than one fan at a time, and they talk to you like family. That's the cool part, you know. It's different, I will tell you that, you know, because I'm a people person. Heather, she gets a little shy around crowds, you know, but like I say, where we're at, we're from a very small town, very small town, and you just don't see that. We don't see crowds of people, you know. And for me, I loved it. I like to sit around and visit and talk and stuff like that. But to have people, like, you know, I would sit and watch people come up, and they were taking pictures with Heather and stuff, and standing in line to take pictures with Heather. And the cool thing was, is the company that we were there with, they would take the pictures, and then Heather would take a picture with the fan, and then they'd print it out, and she'd sign it for them right there and just give it to them for free, you know. It was pretty cool. So I'm sitting back watching this group of people surrounding her, and I had a few times where guys would come up beside me, you know, standing there, and I don't even realize they know who I am, and be like, "So Jeff, you plan on doing any bass fishing this summer?" Like, oh wow, you know, who are you? I've never met you before in my life. But I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do it that way. You know, when that would happen, I'd just go straight into, like, it's a buddy of mine. Yeah, man, you know, and just start talking, like, you know, and they would know so much about us. And here you are talking to somebody you've never spoke to before, never seen before in your life, like they're your best friend. But it was a lot of fun. I love that kind of stuff. As we're doing that, all of a sudden now we're starting to get phone calls from all these different production companies. And one of the very first that called us was, and I won't name the name of the studio, but they had a TV show going at the time called Country Fried Home Videos with Bill Engvall. Bill Engvall was the host of the show, and it was on CMT. And these guys were like, "Hey, we love this video and we love that video that you have. Can we use it?" I'm like, hell yeah. So we signed, you know, an agreement. They made us an offer on it, and we got paid pretty well, you know, for them to license and use that stuff. The very first one where Heather catches the girl on the jug, and the other ones where she was shooting all the different handguns, and the casing comes up and goes down her shirt. They wanted both of those. So, you know, as they're putting those into their show, they realized, hey, we want more from this girl. So they started sending us scripts. They started asking me, I start working with them, what kind of ideas you got? What can we do? You know, what's some other stuff? We want to put some more of her stuff on our show. So we start brainstorming the whole thing, and we come up with ideas. Well, then they start writing scripts for the stuff, you know, and we never done like scripted stuff before. It was just kind of pick a, you know, what we're doing, and you pick a direction and you just naturally go in that direction. These people wanted stuff done like word for word by script, and you know, so Heather struggled with that some, and we would do take after take after take after take. So, you know, I had the idea for a long time. I was planning to do it in the video anyway, what Heather called big boom abstract art, where, you know, it took the big rifle and shot the paint cans on top of a 4x8 foot sheet of whatever kind of whiteboard, I forget what it's called, but you know, it explodes all over and some random art. It would turn out really cool. It turned out really cool. So she done that one. She done the one where she compared the different shotguns, you know, the 410, the 20 gauge, the 12, and then the 10 gauge. And I was so impressed by her, how well she handled that 10 gauge. And you guys can go back and find that video. My God, the wind's blowing in. It's cold, isn't it? Yeah. She done a remake of the dry ice and the cooler for them. There was some more. I've got them. They sent me all their copies of their cuts for it. I got them on DVD somewhere at the house, but it's been so long now, I forget. After we worked with them a little bit on that show, the owner of that company's called him. He's like, look, and he was a really cool guy. He's like, look, we like her. We like what you guys are doing. We want to develop a show specifically around y'all. It's like, cool. I mean, you know, here we are just getting out and goofing off. That's how all this stuff started. And now all this, you know, this stuff is happening so fast. Just, you're kind of in disbelief that all this stuff is happening. It's like, holy crap, how did this ever happen to us? They pitched 2 or 3 different ideas. And then they started, you know, shopping it around to networks and stuff like that. And they never could really find nothing that would stick. But it was no big deal to us. I mean, we were doing fine on our own. What we were doing, it just, it'd be cool, yeah, if they got it. But it's not like we had to have it. But it seemed like all of a sudden, lots of production companies start hunting us, you know, through our YouTube videos. And I mean, they were drawing a lot of traffic. Hey, we seen y'all stuff, and we would like to try to put something together for you guys, or the TV show. You know, we produced so-and-so show. I'm like, I've never heard of that either, you know. And I'm not kidding you at all. We had over 30 different, you know, television production companies contact us trying to get us to work with them. And every time one calls and they start pitching you ideas and stuff, they want you to sign a contract with them, you know. Well, you know, if we're going to do this and we're going to spend our time on it, we need you to sign a contract with us. And what it means is, it's a, you know, it's a non-competition clause, meaning that you can't go on your own or work with somebody else on producing stuff to try to pitch to somebody, some network or whatever. We were super hesitant about that because that's how we were making our living. You know, I don't want to sign a non-competition clause that's going to shut me down. I can't do that. Not unless it's worth it. Not unless I know for a fact that it's worth it. But, you know, at the same time, we would have different shows that would call us to license video from us that we'd already shot, and we would license out some stuff and, you know, make some decent money off of that too. Usually every time a company would call, they're like, well, we're so-and-so productions and we do the so-and-so show, like we do, you know, Cupcake Wars. One of them was the people that done the Cupcake Wars for whatever channel. I'm like, dude, I don't even know about that show, you know. I don't, you're not impressing me by telling me this. But one day, usually it's contact you through Facebook, which you end up giving your email. You have a few emails back and forth, get a phone number, start having conversations. But this guy, his assistant emailed, and it's like, look, my boss is already in New Orleans. We've been looking at you guys' stuff, and we are ready to put you guys a TV show together. You know, and we're already like, you know, we're kind of gun shy about that. We already kind of thought about doing that. And to be honest, we don't want to be tied down in case something don't work out. And they're like, no. You just need to hear him out. My boss is in New Orleans. He's renting a car. He wants to drive up to your house. Like, okay. So then his boss called. He was the vice president of BBC Worldwide. And I'm like, haha, I do know that name. I know about BBC. You know, we're a Top Gear fan. We're a huge Top Gear fans at that time and stuff like that. That's all we knew about with BBC Worldwide at that time. They do Top Gear. That's a big show. So we agree, and the guy drives up, comes to our house. We sit down in the yard, and he's like, look, y'all, I'm telling you right now, I can make this work. This is the vice president of BBC Worldwide in my front yard. And, you know, we're like kind of in disbelief. So then he starts telling us, you know, let me tell you my accomplishments and why you need to sign with us. You know, they had done dirty jobs. They had the guy himself had worked on. He was the original producer of of Deadliest Catch. You know, that was another one of our huge shows we watched back then. You know, he's naming off all these different big shows. It's like, holy crap, this is the one. We're gonna have to do this. We have to take this chance. We have to try this. So we sat there, and he says, look, I'm flying back to Los Angeles. You know, before he finished, he told us, we want Robbie, we want your stepfather Gerald, we want you and Heather, and they wanted I have a crazy aunt that they wanted her to be involved in the show some too. And we had the duck. If you guys are real fans, y'all remember Frankie the Duck. He said, the duck has to be in the show, because he was so interactive the whole time. We're sitting in the yard having this conversation with this guy from BBC Worldwide about, you know, creating a TV show around us with him, and our duck is sitting right at his feet, talking to him the whole time. Well, so he flies back to Los Angeles. They start writing up contracts and stuff like that. We signed the 6-month, you know, contract with them, and but this guy's like, I'm telling you right now, I will be able to sell this. So at that point, the next step is they want us to start sending them some raw video footage that I had, so they can clip some stuff together to kind of start trying to shop it around, maybe, you know, fill out the waters, see if anybody might be interested in something to do with us, one of the networks. But at the same time, he's gearing up to send a full-on production crew to us in the next week. Within a week. I'm like, oh man, it was moving so fast, you start getting nervous about it. Like, man, you know, it was exciting, but at the same time, it's scary. I'm gonna tell you, as fast as these people move, you don't hardly have time to think about anything, and they're on to the next step. Well, over the next couple of days, he calls back. He says, I got great news for you. I was like, what's that? He said, we pretty much got the show already sold, it seems. And I'm like, huh? You know, we ain't even started doing that. He said, no, we've been taking some of y'all stuff and putting it together and shopping it around, and we have a really big network interested. And I'm like, all right, well, what network is? He said, no, I can't tell you. It's against the rules. We can't tell you who it is. All I can tell you is it's one of the top 3 cable networks in the world. Okay. You know, so first thing I'm doing, I'm Googling who are the top 3 networks in the world, you know. It came up, it's like Discovery, A&E, and History or something like that at that time, I want to say. And so, you know, you're really getting, I'm really getting nervous now. God, it's cold out here. Wind. You got to go with it. It's like, you know, this is a dream. I can't believe this. It's hard to believe this is happening. So a week later, they send the production crew here from Hollywood. And when I say production crew, we had worked with a few different crews before to do some work on some shows. One with CMT, it was called All Jacked Up, for about the Mudfest out here. And that was a large production crew. But we'd also done some work with one from a show from Nat Geo that I can't even remember the name of, and they sent them out here, and it was like 7 guys. You know, well, it wasn't even that. It was 5 guys. It was 5 guys, and that was a lot of fun. We took them jug fishing for their TV show, which I can't remember the name of. But you know, we had been involved in some stuff like that before this. They send down a 15-man production crew, and we go to work with the idea they had set up for us. The thing that I never cared for with that was it was too faked and too scripted. You know, when you see reality TV people, it's not really reality. There's control in a direction they want things to go, and there's certain amounts of stuff that's written for you to go this way that's not true. I don't know if y'all know that, but if you didn't, now you know, trust me. So we start filming with these people, and it's being funded by, not by BBC Worldwide. They're not gambling their own money. It's being funded by the network that they pretty much got this sold to. That network is now funding this whole thing. And you know, the way things were going, it's like, it's pretty much in the bag. Y'all got this. It's just time to shoot now. So we set up shop in this little place here in our town, and we start producing. And I mean, they would have us come in 5:30 in the morning. We would start shooting all this different stuff, and they wouldn't let us stop until about 10 o'clock at night. All right, and the crazy part was, the day before they got here, me, Heather, Robbie, Robbie, and Gerald all caught the flu. We had the flu while we start to shoot this TV show, you know. And the funny thing was, like I say, it's a 15-man production crew. So we got 2 cameramen, you've got 3 or 4 gophers that, you know, worked on set stuff and was running back and forth to get stuff. And like, when it come time for us to eat, say like dinner time, noon dinner time, wherever we were, whether it be in the woods or where, we was on a riverbank one day, I remember, and we pull up from the, you know, the river in the boat, and these, you know, the production crew had already went to one of the popular restaurants here and bought full-on pans, big pans of food. And they had, you know, these tables, fold-out tables and chairs set out all over on the bank, you know. And we just walked straight in and sat down and started eating and talking with the producer and the director and stuff, and the cameraman about what it is we're trying to do, you know. And they're waiting on you hand and foot. I'm like, I could get used to this, you know. You start getting spoiled, like, really, is this the direction that our lives are about to go in? You know, it's crazy. We're shooting all this different stuff, and the thing with it was, it was outdoor stuff, but it was probably at least, let's say it was like a 70-30 split. 70% stuff about guns and 30% stuff about fishing. It was a country style life show is what it was. And it was going extremely well. We done different stuff, like, you know, I had an idea, I'd seen them on the internet, where I was a golfer. I used to love to play golf all the time, and I was pretty good at it. And so I seen these things on the internet where you could take a AR-15 and screw this tube on the end of it and launch golf balls, you know, with it. And I was like, and I brought up to the producers, we're, you know, spitballing ideas of different stuff we could do for different scenes for the TV show, and I brought that up. And they was like, hey, you got an AR-15, right? I was like, yeah, I got an AR-15. It's like, I'll order one of those, and you can order the blank rounds that go with it and golf balls and stuff, and that's going to be one of our things we're going to shoot. So we get that stuff in the next day. You know, we put the golf ball launcher on the AR-15, and at that time I had a good buddy who owned one of the bigger golf clubs here, and I go to him, and the funny thing is the golf course is in the middle of a suburb, a really nice suburb at that. And I go to my buddy and his dad, I'm like, hey y'all, we're shooting this stuff for this TV show, and we were wondering if maybe we could bring out our guns to shoot them on your golf course. I know it's weird, you know, that's a weird request and all. You probably don't get that very often, but you think it might be possible? Well, yeah, that sounds exciting. Y'all bring them on out. So they give us, like, you know, like 5 or 6 different golf carts. We show up with all these people, and we're headed down these fairways with this full-on production crew following us around, gonna shoot golf balls with an AR-15. And, you know, like I say, it's in the middle of the neighborhood. So now these people are kind of coming out, you know, they're in their yards, and they're like, what the hell is going on? You know, Gerald here, he comes strolling down the fairway with an AR-15. He's got a gray beard down to here, that hat on him. You know, like, man, we got to be one hell of a sight going on here. But we done all kind of stuff like that. It was a lot of fun. I won't continue on all this because this video is already getting too long as it is anyway. I might have to cut it pretty soon. But why I'm telling y'all this stuff is that was a massive turning point in what happened with our channel, because we had signed with those people and it was pretty much a guaranteed thing, so we weren't sweating it. On the 7th day of shooting that show, 10 o'clock, no, it was about 9 o'clock that night, we walk out to take a break, and I had a cousin that's with the parish sheriff's department here. Yes, we have parishes here in Louisiana, not counties. And he drives up to check on what, you know, how we were doing with our stuff, because it's a small town and everybody here knows what we're doing. Oh my God, you know, they're shooting a TV show down the road here. He says, "So did y'all hear what happened?" "No." "Y'all didn't hear what happened?" And then the producer walks out and he asks Dixon, he says, "Dixon, you see what happened?" "No, man, we've been shooting all day." He's like, "What are you talking about?" And he started telling us what happened that day. And what happened that day was the Sandy Hook school shooting happened that day. And we were just, you know, like, oh my God. And that's the first thing we're talking is, man, that's unbelievable. That's horrible that that's happened and stuff. And then we kind of turned to Dixon and is like, "You don't think it's gonna cause us any problems, do you?" No, y'all good. It's no big deal, you know. Okay, so we go on about our business and stuff. And we wrap up that particular point of shooting, and they go back to start editing all the stuff we've been shooting for a week. And then, you know, they start, they're telling us we'll be back in a few weeks to come back and do more pickup shots and stuff like that, interview style stuff that they put into these different TV shows and all. And whenever they came back, that's when we started hearing, well, we have to change the name of the show because they're involving guns, and we're gonna have to cut out a lot of probably all the gun stuff out of the thing, because the politics at that time, you know, had been a week or two after the Sandy Hook school shooting. All the politics that started, you know, gun control and all this stuff, and guns are bad, and got to get rid of the AR-15s, and got to get rid of, take y'all's guns away totally and stuff to save the children and keep this from happening again. That was what the news was at that time. And so now not the production company so much, but the network who was buying it didn't want to go that way. They didn't want to put out a new show about guns. Well, guess what? The mass majority of our show was about guns. And, you know, at that time they're telling me we're going to cut this, and I'm like, how are y'all going to do that? We're not going to have anything left. We done hunting, we done, you know, we done gun style competitions, we done, you know, gun demonstrations, a bunch of different stuff, long range shooting stuff, golfing with guns, just all these different things. And you're going to cut all of that now? How's that going to work out? There's not going to be anything left. They say, "Oh, yeah," they're telling us, "Oh, don't worry about it. It's going to be fine," you know. And I'm already going like, I don't think so. So they get their pickup shots and stuff, and they go back with those. And it wasn't very much longer after that, you know, probably a few weeks after that, we're expecting to hear about, you know, when should we be debuting or something like that. And instead I got the phone call of, well, History, and it was the History Channel. History said that they just don't see doing this because they don't feel it's working with what I said, of course it's not working. We just had to cut everything we shot. I mean, they were buying this product, and now they're trying to turn it into this product when it was already shot this other way. So how the hell is it supposed to work, you know? I didn't say it that way. I'm not a rude person to people like that, but that's what I'm thinking to myself, you know? But to be honest with you, I already knew that was coming, because when they started talking about change, I already knew this was coming. The wind's blowing so hard, the camera's shaking, and y'all probably can't hear me because it's freezing. I'm just to wrap this up. Long story short, so they canceled the project before before we really ever even got going. They spent $250,000 on what we had done and just tossed it down the drain. Must be nice. The problem was now we're under contract, and the production company said, well, History might not want it, but we still think maybe we can sell it to somebody else. And I'm just kind of distraught at that time. I'm heartbroken pretty bad about it. It's kind of like being handed your ultimate dream and then, you know, and then have it ripped away from you. That's really what it was like. And I did not handle it well. I did not handle it well at all. And now also we're under contract and we can't do anything. So, and they didn't let us out of the contract because they were still shopping it around. They got the green light from History to own the content and start shopping it to other networks, and they did for a long time, trying to still sell it. The whole time we can't produce, and you know, it's hurting our channel. So for those of you that have been around all this time and wondered why there's certain gaps during that time frame, that's the reason why. So, and really honestly, you know, by then now you're killing us and you're killing our numbers, because you know, when you don't put stuff out for quite a while, your stuff is going to dwindle, and that's what happened. So we were faced at that time with, do we want to try to go back to YouTube now or what? And I had to do a little thinking, and we did. We went back to it, and I learned a hard lesson the hard way, and that is, when something ain't broke, you shouldn't fix it. Try to fix it. And what we were doing was not broke. We were living a good life. You know, we were doing what we wanted. We had the freedom that I see now that that freedom was better than trying to get under something like that TV show in a contract. Shouldn't have done it. Learned the lesson the hard way. Won't do that again. Anyway, I'm freezing. That's the second part of the story of what all has went on with our channel, and I hope maybe you guys found it as enlightening or as entertaining as the last one. And I don't know that I'm gonna do another one after this about that kind of stuff. I'm ready to stop the just talking stuff. I know you guys are ready for me to stop the just talking stuff. I'm just trying to, like I said before, I'm just trying to give y'all some back history of what happened with us and how things went and what it was like for us. For those of you that wanted this content, and a lot of you told me, hey, I enjoyed the hell out of that, I would like to see some more of it. Well, there it was. I may do some more of this down the road, and from this point I'm looking to do something different. And also at this point, I'm looking at getting in this car and getting out of here because I'm freezing. I will catch you guys next time. Also, I know the last thing I noticed as I'm learning to use YouTube again and their analytics and stuff like that, and it's all totally different for me. I realized in the analytics that they give me that, yeah, we have, you know, 200 some odd thousand subscribers, but the problem is with all this way this has gone through the years with YouTube, and they changed their system, you have to hit the notification bell and all that stuff, and of the 200 some odd thousand subscribers there are to this channel, only 5% 5% have their notifications turned on. So you guys, if you're looking to try to see any of the next stuff that I'm putting out, you might want to check and see if your notifications are on, so you even know if I'm uploading or not. Anyway guys, that's it. I appreciate you watching. I'll see you next time.